recording for the people. We'll make it available to them. We'll share the screen. We'll convert you guys over here.
I'm not converting.
I use 2 screens, which is very nice. That way I can see my Talmidim, even as
Nice.
you can't, but yeah. Okay. Were either of you with us last week even?
I was.
You were, okay. So last week we spent time trying to pin down how we are to understand this man Bilam's capacities. What is he? And basically we walked away with a spectrum, one which kind of sits in a pasuk in Yehoshua, which calls that Bilam ben Beor HaKosem, Bilam the son of Beor, the sorcerer, through to the implications of our parsha here in Parshas Balak, where he is talking to Hashem. Hashem is talking to him, and he seems to come across as a navi. While primarily these are nighttime visitations, so it's sort of a tier 2 or tier 3 nevuah that happen only when he is asleep, right? The nevuah that happens in a trance or whatever is a different type of nevuah that happens behakitz when you are awake and alert. But then you have this very interesting midrash on the last pasuk in the Torah, or close to it, right? That Lokam od navi b'Yisrael k'Moshe asher yida'o Elokim panim el panim. That there never arose in Israel a prophet like Moshe who God knew face to face. And the midrash tonight says on that, not b'Yisrael, but amongst the nations of the world, there was a Navi, Kimoshe. And that's supported by the Midrash, on the Rashi actually that talks about why did God provide for a Navi to the Goyim, and it was basically so that the Goyim shouldn't be able to claim to Hashem when he comes to judge them for their idolatry and their immorality, that well, you didn't give us a prophet like you gave to them, equivalent to Moshe. And so it says, here, take this guy. Here's Bilam, and let's see what you do. And in fact, Bilam ended up leading them astray into Avodah Zarah. So there's a weakness to it. Hi, Gabi, how are you? There's a weakness to that statement, because obviously, if Bilam's the kind of guy who leads them astray into Avodah Zarah, so then Bilam really isn't like Moshe in terms of he might have the same nevuic skills, hypothetically, according to the Midrash Tanaim, as Moshe did, but he's his moral stature and his spiritual state and his commitment to God are far apart from Moshe's, to say the least. Okay, fine. So that's all that we don't know. Again, is he a Kosem or is he a Navi? We're going to leave open-ended for the while, but right now our psukim are going to lead us to generally presuming he's got nevuic skills. So let's see. Vayishlach malachim el Bilam ben Beor petor asher al naharetz emoli krolo. Allah sends a messenger to Bilam and Beor at Petor, which is on the Euphrates, the land of his people. So unclear whose people that is. The krolo to call for him. More saying, Hine am yatzam mitzrayim hine chisatein haaretz v'yishem imulei. Behold, this nation has left Egypt. Behold, it is covering up the face of the eye of the earth. You can't even see it, right? And he is right opposite me. Where are they? Again, the Bnei Yisrael are stationed at Arvot Moav, and they feel threatened by their presence there. Now, please come curse this people. They are too numerous, too awesome for me. Ulai uchal nakebo ba'akarshenim min haaretz. If you do that, if you curse them, then perhaps I, Balak, can strike them and I will drive them out of the land. Ki adati, because I know. Asher tevarech mivorach, va'asher ta'or you are. Whoever you bless is blessed, and whoever is cursed is cursed. So that statement leads you to believe, instead of going back and forth, that kind of statement has Bilam being what? Whoever you curse is cursed, whoever you bless is blessed. Sounds more like what are his skills?
He's more than a prophet.
But you are a source. You practice
Right.
black magic, right?
Yeah, it sounds magical.
Right. And so that's why they come with their ksamim. So that's what Rashi says. They make sure to bring all the tchotchkelach that you might want to use for sorcery, in case he says he left his in the summer cottage when he or whatever it is, he doesn't have it with him, so he can do his work, which is to be a kosein. Right. That's kind of where it's at. So that's what we heard about you. Now, I don't know if we mentioned last week. That pasuk, at least for me, serves as an echo. I know asher tevarech mevorach, asher ta'or you are. Whoever you bless is blessed. Whoever you curse is cursed. It sounds like a pasuk. It brings you back to a pasuk about earlier in the Torah. Anybody have it?
Oh, Abraham.
Yeah, good.
Was it in Lech Lecha?
The beginning of Lech Lecha, the very beginning of Lech Lecha, right? Be'eschal goy gadol.
Right.
I will bless those who bless you, and those who curse you, I shall curse. So this is, of course, said about of Hashem. Of Hashem. Hashem is the one who's going to really manage blessings and curses, and now they're kind of saying you are of that capacity. That's what we know about you. In a few psukim, we'll see where Hashem says, Lo ta'or ta'am ki baruch hu, is way of Hashem saying to him, this is my stuff, not yours. Okay? Don't get involved with the people that I've already promised and I've made clear I am blessed. Just good. I already gave away that part. Fine. So they come. They arrive. They share all the Balak said. Vayomer aleihem, and he said to them, Linu fo halayla, sleep over here tonight. And I will bring you back a word of what it is, whatever Hashem has spoken to me. And the Sarei Moav, they settled in and stayed over with Bilam. We know the Rashi very midrashic, very sharp read. What happened to the Sarei Midyan? They disappeared from the story. They came, and so that's what Uksamim Bi'adam, the second read in Rashi was. Doesn't mean they come with tchotchkelach for him to do sorcery. Rather, they come with an omen that they've set for themselves, and that omen is if he says yes right away, he's our guy. If he says sleep over tonight, then they know he's a fraud. Basically, right? And when as soon as he says it, they say, we're out of here. We're not with you. This is not good. And right, so who's right? They hopped right away that this guy is going to be playing with them. Okay, so sleep over. Let's see what Hashem says. Vayavo Elohim el Bilam, and God came to Bilam. Vayomer, and he said, Mi hanashim ha'ele imach, and he said, who are these people that are with you? So let's pause right there. Hashem asks you a question. Who are these people that are with you? What do you understand is God's question when he asks you that?
What are you doing? He knows who these people are. But he's sort of like, what have you done or what are you doing?
Yeah. Let's hold it. Let's go back to the first question in the Torah.
Well, Cain and
Hevel.
Hevel.
No, the very first question in the Torah is.
Oh, to Chava, or Adam, what have you done?
Is Ayeka, right? That's the first in the Torah. Right. Where are you? And what's his answer? I was naked. I was hiding, and right, I was hiding. Right. So that's question number one. Question number two, Cain, which is right? Where is Hevel? So any of these people who have any knowledge of God, when God asks, "Where are you?" and "Where is Hevel?" So what should you know?
He wants them to come clean.
God is not asking you for facts. I don't need facts. Anybody, if you know God, you know he's not asking for facts. You know he's asking you a different question. So here, right? Mi hanashima eliyimach, vayomer Bilam el Elohim Balak ben Tzibor melech Moav shalach elai. Oh, there are people that Balak sent them to me. So what does that tell you right away? Bilam and Hashem's question, Bilam is either choosing not to answer what he knows is Hashem's question, or he's missing Hashem's question. And Ayeka is, what has become of you? And where is your brother? And he answers, my brother's keeper. That's exactly the point I'm making, right? And these are questions which are not meant to give the. It's wrong to call them rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions, I'm not expecting you to answer me. I am expecting you to answer me, but I'm expecting you to answer me on a deeper level of what I'm really asking you. So he doesn't do that. He just says, "Oh, these guys are." Now he's going to tell him this is exactly what he said to me. That this people who came out of Mitzrayim. Does Bilam? What does Bilam know about Hashem's role in perhaps in that little event, right? The people that came out of Mitzrayim, the people you brought out of Mitzrayim, right? He's pretty much quoting Balak, but is he like, I'm just going to be a very even and honest reporter, or is he like it's completely not connecting with him? By Achasadena Aretz to cover the land. Atalacha Kavali Oto, now come curse them. For me, perhaps I can do battle with them and drive them out. Midrash here would just say it outside. Kava is a stronger language than ara. Balak asks ara, right? And he now quotes him as kava, which is apparently like a deeper curse. And this is the other midrashic, midrash pushes it hard, right? He says. And he says V'gerashti. So this sounds this he reads as actually to drive him out of the whole world. Okay, that's how the Midrash wants to read that lines. So I just share what they said to me. Vayomer Elohim el Bilam. So God says to Bilam, Lo telechi mahem. Do not go with them. Lo ta'or ta'am ki varochu. Do not curse the people because they are blessed. That's what we said before. Ki baruchu, I made it very clear since Abraham's time, they are blessed. They're off limits. Bayakam Bilam baboker, and so he rose in the morning. Bayomer el Sari Balak. So he says to them, right, L'chu el artzachem, go back home. Ki me'ein adonai l'titila halochi machem. God has refused to let me go with you. Anybody have any thoughts as you read what happened here? What doesn't he say to them?
He didn't say give it up. Like, you know what? There's no way you're going to win.
Okay. God says three things. Number one, don't go. Number two, don't curse.
Right.
Three, they are blessed. Okay, now don't curse and they are blessed go together, but they're actually separate. One is an alav, one is a prohibition, and one is I have no intention of letting a curse take hold, right? Three things Hashem says to him. What does he say to the people? To this one. He just says, I can't go with you. Why? Gabi, what are you thinking? You're thinking something.
Nah.
Okay.
still wants to get paid or wants future assignments. I don't know. He doesn't want to leave it
Yeah.
with a bad taste.
So for some reason, he doesn't want to let on that it is forbidden to curse these people. And doesn't want to let on that the curse is not going to hold. He only says, I can't go. God won't let me go. But if God did let me go, all the other stuff is fair game. Of course, again, the reason why God doesn't want to let him go is like they should say to him, why doesn't God want to let you go? And the answer is I don't know, right? Now, okay, just keep that in your mind. So the Sarei Moab rose and they came to Balak, Vayimru, Me'ain Bilam haloch imanim. And they said, Bilam refuses to go with us. What happens here?
They leave out the fact that Hashem said not to go.
Right? It's not that God said Bilam, he wouldn't let Bilam go. Bilam refused to go. So, if is that intentional or is it broken telephone or they don't chop the real point? Whatever it is, by leaving it in this, by presenting it in this fashion to Balak, what now? You're Balak. So tell me, how might you think about what's going on?
He wants more money.
You might say, what will it take to have him not refuse to go? Because this is his refusal. He's controlling this, and he obviously wants something more, so that he'll stop refusing, right? So why it is that Sarei Moab, don't at least say what Bilam says, I don't know, but the effect is that Balak is going to think that there's a chance. La Havdil, right? So Joe Manchin said, last June, I'm not going to support it, right? I'm not spending the $17 trillion, right? So, and then everybody just, said, no, don't say, no, let's talk some more, right? And then from this Sunday morning, he says, no. And then you hear the pundits, right? So so those who are on the left say, I can't believe this guy, and he let us on. He was negotiating, blah, blah, blah. And the other guy said, did you not hear him in June? He's take the man at his word, right? So it's just so interesting how all that works out. So in this case, it's left open the possibilities that he will go, especially if it's not stated that the Lord told him he can't go.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that Bilam is very happy, although he does play that God said I can't go. He's very happy to have this Sarei Moab mess this up. So let's go a little further. Bayod Od Balak Shaloach Sarim Rabim Nichbadim Me'ela. So Balak, went further, sending messengers, emissaries, or dignitaries, that's the right translation, who were more numerous and more honored than these. Now we're going to hyper read and take apart every word they say. Me'ain Bilam haloch imanu. Bilam refused to go with us, which means
you aren't that important.
He understands him. You sent me the undersecretary of tissue supplies, whatever, for me to come with you. I'm not going with the undersecretary of tissue supplies, right? So he says, fine, I'll send you the Secretary of State. That works. Now I feel mechubad. Okay. I made up a new role. Vayavo, new role. Bobby, new role. Undersecretary of Birth. Yes. Vayavo el Bilam. It's a two-ply joke. Vayavo el Bilam. And they came Bilam Vayamrulo. Ko Amar Balak ben Zippor al na timana mehaloch elai. So says Bilam, Balak, son of Zippor, please do not hold back from coming to me. Not about who you go with, by the way. It's about who you're coming to. You're coming Eli. So coming to the king. Ki chabed achabedcha ma'od. I will honor you greatly. V'chol asher tumar Eli e'aseh. And whatever you say to me, I shall do. Ulachana kavaliyah ta'am hazeh. But just please come and curse for me this nation. Okay, take this apart. Ki chabed achabedcha ma'od. V'chol asher tumar Eli e'aseh. Two things he says to him. I will greatly honor you, and whatever you tell me, I shall do. What do you make of this? Let's start the second part of that clause. What is that? What's he saying?
You're in charge.
How broad? How broad is this statement? Whatever you tell me, I shall do. If you tell me to stand on my head for 20 hours, I'll do that. I'll do anything you tell me to do. I'll run around in the snow and with nothing on for right. If there's no snow there, right? Something right. I'll do crazy things. Is that what it means? So firstly, where else do we hear such a broad kind of opening in Tanakh? Any story that you maybe right? I'll do whatever you ask, I shall do.
I'll take it. Root Naomi? No.
I wasn't going there. There could be other.
Okay, sorry.
Purim, Esther.
Yeah, right. Esther shows up after 3 days, Sharvita Zahav, and he says, right, what, my dear, what do you want? Right, Achatzia Malchut, so up to half the kingdom. I'll do, right, whatever, up to half the kingdom. 49%, because I'm retaining majority of anything. I'm not giving up everything, but I'll go pretty far. So is that what it means? I'll do almost anything. If you say you want Afghanistan, I'll give you Afghanistan. Or does it have to do with whatever you need to happen so that you can do your job here? I'll make it happen. So that's very different. It's not about big promises, but it is whatever you and that kind of fits more clearly with what goes on. Which is Balak is running around him. If you just think of his little head, he's running around him himself. Every spot sets him up on this mountain, that mountain, and he's like, "Oh, what can we do for you?" But Mr. Bilam, right? So he's like, he personally is gonna carry out whatever Bilam says. I need this, and I need a glass of tea, please. Also with seven sugar cubes, and he does it for him. So that's kind of what the story ultimately has happened. Okay, but on top of that. Ki chabed achabedcha ma'od. What does that mean? Chabed achabedcha ma'od.
Is it monetary or is it just honoring?
Yeah. Well, I bring you on a royal horse again. Would say in Purim, a royal horse with the royal garb. That's the kind of I will honor you very much. Or is it something much more tachlitically, financial here? So let's read another sentence. Vayan Bilam vayomer el abdei Balak, and Bilam responded, and he said to el abdei Balak, which I don't know if I didn't look at all the Mefarshim on this, but it's so interesting. He sent him Sarim Nichbadim, right, Rabim Nichbadim, right. Now higher upper echelon people, and the end, he sees them as Abdei Balak, which doesn't mean he's diminishing them, but like they're still just the underlings, okay? Im yitenli Balak nelo veto kesev v'zahav lo uchala vor pi Adonai lahayla soktana gdola. Okay, well, let's ignore the second half of the pasuk, which is actually pretty from. Okay, so the first half of the pasuk. If Balak would give me his whole house of silver and gold, so you already perhaps remember the Rashi on this. We can read this pasuk generously. We can read this pasuk, very ungenerously to him. Let's read it generously. Listen, whatever you might want to do for me, you should just know I can't do what God doesn't let me do. That's period, right? Whatever you want to do, I can't, transgress God's will. And by the way, it's very from, right? Pi Hashem Elokai. He sounds like, like a real Navi, right? One of our guys, Hashem Elokai. Whoever had, this is a big jump. Just as Hashem was always, he knew the God, but Hashem Elokai, he now calls him my God. That's a new level, which I don't know whether it's a fake or for real that he sees him this way, although it's very complicated, right? So what does the Rashi say, reading it very ungenerously? By saying these words, if he'll give me his whole house full of silver and gold, what's he doing?
He's putting a thought in his head that, maybe
he is telescoping
give me more.
What his price is, right? My price, ki chaberach habetcha. You want to know what my price is, right? That's going to be your whole house of gold and silver. That's what my price is. Oh, I can't go against God, even if you give me all that. And so we kind of go back to the story of Avraham and what's his name for the Mar HaMachpelah. What's his name? Ephron Achiti.
Ephron Achiti.
Right. So where Ephron says, "Oh no, right? He wouldn't take anything," and Avram gives him the money. Over la socher, he knows exactly. He has telescoped in his refusals exactly what his price really is. So here the Rashi quotes the Midrashic read, which says that Bilam has conveyed his price as well. But then he says, I can't go against God, my Lord, Hashem Elokai. And so now, right, I want you to sleep over. Also, you guys, tonight, and I'll know what else God says to me. So wait a minute. What should he have said at the end of Pasuk Yod Chet?
We're finished.
I can't go against Hashem's word, and
God has already spoken.
Hashem has spoken, and the answer is no. So thank you, gentlemen, but please go home. Or sleep over because it's late, but there's nothing to talk about. Instead, he says, and I will know what, I'll see whether Hashem has anything else to say to me. Which of course then means that what?
He's still open for business.
He is holding out hope, right? He's holding out hope that he will get God's blessings. Vayavo Himel Bilam, Vayomer Lo, doesn't ask him a question again. God came to Bilam at night and he says to him, if they've come to call for you, go. Get up and go with them. But only that which the word which I speak to you, that's what you shall do. So if Balak has said to Bilam, whatever you say to me, whatever you tell me I will do, right? God is saying to him, let me make it very clear. Whatever I tell you, you will do, right? Just in mind. So, but God says yes. Vayakam Bilam, and Bilam arose in the morning and he saddled his donkey and he went with the dignitaries of Moab. Rashi on this, do you remember the Rashi on this pasuk? Who remembers the Rashi on this pasuk? Anybody know it? Remember it from whatever? Shai Mikra, Cheder. He rises in the morning and he saddles his own donkey. So there are 3 times in the Torah we have such things. Avraham, Vayashkim Avraham Boker,
with the Akeda.
before the Akeda, and he saddles his donkey. Paro, although it all depends how you read the pasuk, right? Paro organizes his own chariot to go chase after the Bnei Israel who in the Midbar, right? Who just left. And this one. And the Chazal here, in case you don't remember it, is that Ahava Mekalkelet et Hashura, Visina Mekalkelet et Hashura. That the Shura, which means what? The Shura.
Line.
The path.
The usual way something is done, right, is upturned either by great passionate love or great passionate hate. The usual way is that a chasher, a person like Abraham or like Pharaoh or even like Bilam would have his servants do these things, but they push aside the servants and they get up and Abraham even by Shkima Boker. Abraham had a great love for Hashem and fulfilling God's command. Paro out of his hatred for Israel, and presumably Bilam out of something eager. He's certainly eager, and it's a not positive eagerness, as Chazal will read it, that has him do this. Okay, so I just want to tell a story. I'll stop with the recording for a second. Not because it's a bad story.